Interceptor? I hardly even know her. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xaereth Prevails. Leviathan and Cal Survivor events are just around the corner, and I want to talk about which one you should be working on first. Just in terms of like, what impact is it going to have on your account, and just like maybe just evaluating what things are going to cost. How possible is it even to get one of these, and if you should be going for Cal early on or not. I mean, there's a lot of questions to be answered. So let's jump in to. Hold on. Thanking my patrons. Haha. Thank you, patrons. Thank you guys so much for your support. I truly appreciate all of you. You are amazing people. I truly couldn't do what I do without you. So thank you guys so much for your support. And folks, just a gentle reminder, if you want to support this channel for free, all you've got to do is hit that like button, subscribe, comment, do something to help mount the algorithm. The dang thing ain't gonna mount itself, folks. Well wishes are great, but mount an algorithm they do not. Or something. They don't do it on their own. I'm trying to sound fancy. I apologize. Now, I do have this infographic. I think I'm going to share it on my Discord server. You can find the link to my Discord server in the video description, and there's just I just posted one yesterday, a new infographic for Datacrons, but I did update this one. You can see the red marks the requirements for Leviathan and Cal. Now, we don't obviously know what Cal himself is going to require in terms of Carbantian Chirotech. However, I just used Afra as kind of the template for how much he might cost. So you can see the slashes there, they just denotes how much the characters, that like the unlocked characters cost, and then the character himself, because you're going to unlock a character and you're not going to keep him at relic or at gear 0 unless you're a crazy person, which actually some of you are crazy people. Legitimately, it's insane. However, let's go. We're gonna look at this again in just a moment. So you can find this infographic if you're really interested in it. It's just nothing special, really. But it's free on my Discord server if you care to brave the. Whoa, we're in the PowerPoint. No, it's not PowerPoint. It's actually created by Photoshop, if you can believe it. Now, the factors we're going to be looking at, guys, is like how well can you access these things? How hard are these characters to get? Between Cal and the Leviathan, like they're two of the toughest ones to get currently, honestly, just because of how close to like how new they are, how fresh. And then what will they do once you finally get your hands on them? What kind of impact are they going to have on your account? I mean, like, if you're a dog and you're chasing a car and you catch that car, what are you going to do with it? How's it going to help? Is that going to be relevant to you? And then, of course, how fun are... Oh, yeah. Never mind. So, how accessible are these two, guys? So, Leviathan, there's a lot of hurdles to jump through for Leviathan, actually. There's 2 conquest unlock requirements, which are... you have to do the chase. Not the chase, that's the next one. The conquest, so Malgus and the Fury Interceptor. The one that's right over my face. And it's like, well, if you don't have those, you can't unlock it. So those 2, depending on if you've been doing conquest and how successful you've been, that those are going to be a pretty significant factor. And then 2 chases as well. That's about, 5,000 crystals each. Obviously, we're in the middle of the second one as of the filming of this, creating this. But then, if you don't do the chases, then those ships disappear for a month or 2. And then once you can finally slow farm them, it takes about 6.5 months from scratch. So if you've just totally missed them, if you're brand new or something, or you just took a couple of the wrong months off, then it's going to take about 6.5 months to actually farm those if you don't want to spend on refreshes. Obviously, you can cut that time in half if you do spend on refreshes. Now, there are 63 relic levels required here. Like, it's pretty expensive, and that includes 2 relic 9s, which relic 9 is a whole different animal. It's tough to get your hands on. And then, once you do finally unlock the Leviathan, it costs, I think it's like 24,500 crystals. I don't know why I decided to round. I was like 25,000-ish. Like, let's just type extra things for fun, apparently. But it does cost a lot of crystals, more than a vault, to get him to 7 stars, or her, get Leviathan to 7 stars. Whereas Kestis, a little more approachable, but still. So there's 5 characters required. So each of them, besides Cal, who's in the cantina, who you can farm him pretty quick. But it does take a long time to farm them. Of course, there's 4 characters that you have to farm that way. But they only have to get gear 12. However, gear 12 still costs 2,100 Chirotech to get there. And then, of course, once you do get there, the goal is to get Cal Survivor and Seer at a minimum. We don't know any other requirements up to Relic 7 for the mission on Zepho. So let's look at this here. Let me move my face. Hold on a sec. All right, here's my face. Whoa, we're up here now apparently. So all right. So Leviathan, you can see I put Leviathan right beneath Executor and Profundity. So it costs about 20 more total relic levels and 1 extra relic 9. It's pretty steep price, not to mention how much it costs in Carbante. And then my face is covering up the word Chirotech for that final column. It also costs more Chirotech for the requirements. Now this doesn't include Malgus either. Because Malgus isn't actually technically a requirement that you have to have him unlocked in order to unlock the Fury Interceptor and then unlock Leviathan. So that's kind of a hidden cost that we're just not including because he's not formally part of the requirements. And I've stayed consistent with that. Now, you can see Cal in the bottom here. They're both red, obviously because they're new. I want to make sure you guys can see which ones they are. The Carbante is kind of a little bit expensive. It's not as much as Leviathan costs actually for Carbante, but then you have significantly more Chirotech as an investment. So 5 characters total cost you, 6 total characters is going to cost you around 2,600 Chirotech, which is, I mean, that's a lot. Remember, that's not 2,600 for each side. That's like 2,600 total. Most characters, almost all of them, besides Saw, are 250 carbs and 400 total Chirotech. And then Saw is more expensive for some reason. He is crazy, man. It legitimately, my emotions were on the seesaw there. That didn't really work. Okay, so you've seen what these cost. I mean, it's kind of expensive for both, especially if you're a new player. I don't know that Cal is the right move for you, but let's talk about their impact. If you do manage to get your hands on them, let's see what they actually do, shall we? All right, so Leviathan. It's great because you're gonna get Fleet Arena Dominance, and that's where we get a lot of our crystals. Obviously, that's a very important thing. 400 crystals daily is a really nice prize, and Leviathan is guaranteed, essentially, to be able to get to the #1 spot, which is a very worthwhile endeavor. For if you're free to play, even if you're pay to play, it's something that should not be overlooked. You're also going to be good in GAC or Territory Wars. There's inevitably going to be some way to counter it that isn't using Leviathan, but you're going to be doing better if you have Leviathan. There's no question if that's it. Like, it's going to be very relevant. And then, in theory, it's going to be good in Phase 1 and Phase 2 of the territory battle. I mean, that's a lesser concern, but I mean, it'd be nice to just be able to knock those out because they're worth more banners or whatever they're called, more stuff, more points. But the thing is, you do need a 7-star Leviathan in able to do that and participate in that, which is its whole other issue, guys. But the reason you don't want Leviathan, obviously, like, so the impact is good. I mean, there's no denying it's nice to have it, but there's some steep cliffs to scale here, guys. You have to have Malgus and Fury Interceptor, which, I mean, that won't be a problem on my bigger 2 accounts, but my small accounts, like, it's tough to get those. Like, Malgus is almost, like, you have to have a really strong squad to be able to unlock them in Proving Grounds, and even if you farm him at the maximum speed, Proving Grounds is, you know, you can farm, what, 40 shards total per month. So, I mean, it takes like 8 or 9 months to get, even if you buy the expensive refresh. So, tough to get. Fury Interceptor will be a similar level of difficulty, I'm sure. And you have to have the right squad in order to farm him anyways. Like, that account can't farm him yet. I don't have the right squad. Now, otherwise, we have the idea that Fleet Arena won't necessarily rely on Leviathan if you already have Profundity and Executor. In the past, it hasn't. We've been able to find ways around Executor or Profundity with other fleets, and that's going to be the case here, almost certainly. They're not going to make Leviathan unbeatable, is my guess. I can't promise anything, obviously, but there'll be off-meta stuff. There just always is. As frustrating as that may or may not be, I don't think you're going to rely on having Leviathan. Yes, it'll be nicer to have him, or her, or it. Why does it have to? But why does it have to be? Let's just move on. But my tired brain is just latching onto its foolishness. But here's the thing: like GAC and Territory Wars, you want to be able to do well there. It's not as imperative to do well there as it used to be. That might change. Hopefully they're going to update our game mode soon. One of those game modes, maybe both, to make them more relevant. But right now, we're kind of on a fixed income. I made a video of it. I'll try to link it at the end, folks. Once you get to the end of this video, you can just click on that one for the next one, just to discuss, like, I'd take you through why PvE is so important versus PvP. And the thing is, Leviathan is very much PvP. It's not PvE. I mean, you can use it in some places, but it's not going to be the most important fleet. I mean, the most important fleet, yes, but most important thing, like, it just, like, you don't use ships as much in PvE, frankly. And then, finally, the 2 Galactic Chase ships are just not farmable yet. Like, the Tide Dorito is not going to be here for another month and a half or something like that. Like, you can finally farm it with crystals in a month or so, maybe a couple weeks, but they're not that available. Now, we look at Cal Survivor. Okay, so the reason he's going to be great, he's going to be an overpowered new Jedi. Probably not a Jedi leader, though I could be wrong on that. I just think he's going to be as good or better than Jedi Knight Luke, is what I think. I could be wrong. He won't have as steep of requirements, kind of, but in a way, he kind of will. Like, the characters required for Jedi Knight Luke, they're required to have more relics, but they're easier characters to get, in some ways at least. I'm not sure. I think Cal is going to be really strong, though, on the order of Jedi Knight Luke, and he'll just hang out with your other Jedi squads and destroy things, and he's going to be good in all the game modes. He's also going to give you access to Zepho, which is something we Zepho-netly want access to, guys. Something we absolutely do. Your guild needs to be able to access it, though, obviously, and so you need Relic 7 on him and on Seer to be able to contribute to that. But then also the requirements that you farm are decent. Like, Tarful's a little like, well, like, what are we going to use that, really? Like, or Saw, like, how good are they mid-game? I'm not sure. That remains to be seen. But they seem useful. Seer and Baby Cal are going to be useful in a squad of a bunch of, like, leftovers. It's like, hey, I have a place to put Scav Ray if I really want to, etc. It does cost 2,600 Kyrotech, which is, it's more than 3 different Galactic Legends actually require in total Kyrotech, which is crazy for just 6 characters, and it'll take you 6 months to farm from the very beginning. That's assuming you didn't do the marquees, which a lot of people watching this have done the marquees, but just as a point of reference. And then the thing is, we already have a lot of squads. Like, I don't know if this moves the needle for anything, really. Like, he's already a good Jedi, like, or is he really going to solve you being able to beat different, like, Jedi nodes around the game and stuff? Like, probably Jedi Master Luke or Jedi Master Kenobi can get you to where you're going. You probably don't need Cal there. I mean, I could be wrong, but it's just, how much does he move the needle? I don't know. It remains to be seen. My guess is that he's going to be needed for a lot, though. He's going to be important, especially for Zepho. So, the final factor here, guys, the conclusion, like, if you really boil it down and distill it, Leviathan is what I would consider, like, to be super endgame. It's like you need 2 conquest characters for it. You need to have done the chase. You need to do, like, you have to farm 63 relics worth, including 2 relic 9s, which is the steepest requirements for a Galactic Legend level character yet, and it's only good for PvP for the most part. I mean, it's nice to have, and like I said, PvP, if that's your thing, of course you want it, but it's tough to get, guys. Not to mention, well, Cal requirements are steep. That's like, they're possible. I don't know if you want to spend that many Kyrotech on this one character, and then a bunch of others. Like, well, you get Tarful, but you don't have the other Wookiees. Like, what would you really say you do here, Tarful? Like, he's not gonna do that much. He'll be a Tarful contribution to your team. Oh, that was a Tarful joke. That's what it was. But I think Cal ends up being probably the thing you want to look at most, because anyone can do it. Like, it's like, hey, you can farm them. All the characters are farmable now. You can start on it, guys. And honestly, depending on what Zepho rewards are, it might get you into a better guild as well. The people are like, oh my gosh, Zepho it's a land flowing with milk and honey. Like, please let's get people who can help us get into there, because that reward is what we need. We're gonna just farm all the bronzium wiring possible there, or who knows what it's gonna reward. Like, I'm very curious. That's my number one question right now. What does Zepho do for us? But that might be the criteria. People are like, yeah, like, we don't care what your GP is, just be able to get us into Zepho. Leviathan, it might just not be that possible to get anyways, and even if you do get it, it's like a lot of those farms, the other thing I didn't mention is you might not have Sortie all the way farmed, or the TIE, the Sith fighter, or even Sith assassin. Like, there's a lot of characters on that list that are like, well, you might not have them. They haven't been requirements before, and you might have been busy doing other things. I tend to judge people who have been too busy to farm Sortie, but I will forgive you this one time and just say, like, do better next time. Sortie's great. And, I think Leviathan is just kind of out of reach for a lot of people, folks. I don't want that to be my conclusion. I know people want Leviathan. I want you to have it for what it's worth. Like, I would love it if it was accessible. I think that there are some people, it's just gonna take, like, if your heart is set on it, you really want it, it's like, you could probably get it, but you're gonna have to, it's gonna take you like a year or more to get. And Cal, I think you can get in less than 6 months, and I think it's potentially more impactful anyway. So that's my thought. You let me know in the comments, though. I'm sure there are factors that I've missed. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. You're always teaching me stuff, guys. I actually do appreciate that quite a bit. Everyone's perspective is stronger than just a single, really amazing perspective like mine. So, alright guys, thank you all so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Xaereth prevails. Mos Zeph.